The tears of a global superstar are usually the secret of a private space. However, when the video of Jungkook crying in Jimin's embrace leaked to the public, that secret instantly turned into a global storm. The question now is simple yet full of pressure. Is this merely an emotional moment, or the early sign of a crack in the foundation of one of the most influential music groups in the world? The circulating footage not only shows the fragile side of the golden magne, but also unveils a new layer about the pressure BTS faces behind the glittering stage. HYBE, the giant agency long known as the neat machine behind BTS's success, instead chose silence. This silence triggered wild speculation. When a public crisis is not handled quickly and transparently, rumors swiftly take over the space of discussion, and that is what is happening now. The effect is felt tangibly in the financial market. HYBE's shares once plunged in the days after the video spread. Investors who had long seen BTS as the main pillar of the company's income now question the stability of its management. A market analyst called it a crisis of trust, potentially more dangerous than previous artist contract issues. In an industry heavily reliant on image and public loyalty, losing trust means losing the greatest capital. Meanwhile, on the fan side, ARMY did not stay silent. Those who for years have been the main engine of BTS's success now turn into a force that also pressures HYBE. An online petition calling for better protection of artists' mental health reached millions of signatures in just days. From Seoul to Los Angeles, digital billboards appeared with messages of solidarity. Stay strong, Jungkook. Some fan communities even announced plans for peaceful rallies in front of HYBE headquarters. Surprisingly, ARMY is now moving in a more organized way. They're partnering with mental health advocacy groups in South Korea to launch the Artists Are Humans Too campaign. This collaboration sends a strong signal that the debate has gone beyond mere loyalty to an idol, but into a serious issue: humane working conditions in Korea's entertainment industry. If this pressure continues to rise, HYBE may be forced to respond not only for the sake of its reputation, but also for new regulations that could affect the entire K-pop industry. Yet, the spotlight does not stop at Jungkook and Jimin. Other BTS members are now also under public attention. RM, usually vocal and reflective, seems quieter. V once uploaded a blurry photo with a caption, "Truth has weight," which immediately stirred speculation about a hidden message. Suga, known for being critical, instead chose total silence. Every move of theirs is now analyzed, as if fans are looking for clues about the group's true internal state. HYBE's silence only strengthens suspicion. Some crisis communication experts view this silence as a high-risk strategy. In the context of K-pop globalization, where public perception moves fast and across borders, delays in clarification can spark long-term losses. This crisis is not just about an artist crying. It is about how a company as big as HYBE faces the openness of the world, said a Korean media observer. The social and political impacts also begin to appear. South Korea's Ministry of Culture admitted to receiving hundreds of open letters from international fans. Some members of parliament called Jungkook's case a serious alarm about the workload of artists. They warned that if the government does not quickly regulate mental and physical protection for entertainment workers, Korea's reputation as the home of K-pop could be tarnished in the eyes of the world. BTS, which has long been the face of Korea's cultural diplomacy, could instead become the symbol of the nation's failure to protect its best talents. Amid all the pressure, two big scenarios are widely discussed. First, limited reconciliation. Jungkook remains under HYBE with a more humane contract, perhaps accompanied by guarantees of improved work systems. Second, final separation. Jungkook chooses a solo path outside HYBE, a move that would shake not only the BTS fandom but also the global entertainment market. Both scenarios carry huge consequences, and the public waits for the first sign of which direction it will take. Interestingly, every passing minute without an official clarification only heightens curiosity. Will Jungkook speak himself through his personal social media? Will Jimin, who was with him in the leaked video, take the role of a bridge? Or will HYBE finally sacrifice its silence with a bitter admission? No one knows for sure, and that is what makes this situation increasingly dramatic. Now, it is not just ARMY waiting. The international entertainment world, investors, and even Korean politicians await an answer. Jungkook's tears have shifted the grand narrative from a global success story to a fundamental question about humanity behind the stage. Whatever happens, one thing is clear. The unshakable image of BTS and HYBE will never be the same again. This is a crisis moment that could end as a deep wound, or instead as the beginning of a major revolution in the K-pop industry. If at first the public was only shocked by the leak of Jungkook's emotional video, now the world begins to realize that what happened is not merely a momentary incident. This is a systemic crisis exposing the fragile side of Korea's entertainment industry, even touching the nation's political and economic aspects. HYBE's silence, initially seen as a strategy to calm the situation, instead broadened speculation and deepened public disappointment. International media began highlighting the issue sharply. Major newspapers in America and Europe ran analyses on how the rigid K-pop system often sacrifices artists' welfare to keep the industrial machine running. Jungkook, long known as an icon of toughness and professionalism, is now viewed as a symbol of a victim of an overly demanding system. Thus, this case is no longer limited to the fandom space, but has transformed into a global issue of workers' rights in the entertainment world. Foreign investors who had been the main supporters of HYBE's stock also start recalculating. Some reports mention outflows of capital from the company due to doubt in its management. Analysts say HYBE's stock price now reflects not only financial performance, but also public moral perception. The longer HYBE delays clarification, the greater the risk of long-term losses that are hard to recover. This is not just an artist crisis. This is a corporate governance crisis, said a Seoul economic expert. Meanwhile, ARMY continues expanding its movement, not only through petitions and online campaigns, but also with real-world actions. In various countries, fan communities hold public discussions on artists' mental health, inviting psychologists and industry experts to speak. Billboards in Times Square, New York, again filled with messages of support for Jungkook. In Seoul, hundreds of fans held peaceful rallies carrying posters reading, "Protect the artist, protect the future." This movement makes the pressure on HYBE increasingly tangible, as public opinion has turned into a form of organized resistance. What makes the situation even more complicated is the attitude of the other BTS members. RM, known as the opinion leader, is now appearing less in public, even closing the comment sections on some of his posts. V raised big questions after writing a vague sentence, which until now is still interpreted in many ways. Jimin, who was beside Jungkook in the leaked video, suddenly reduced his online activity as if reluctant to add new sparks. Suga, who usually speaks loudly on social issues, chose silence. This collective silence raises a big question. Are the members being pressured by contract, or have they chosen a uniform strategy not to worsen the situation? South Korea's Ministry of Culture can no longer turn a blind eye. International public pressure has brought the issue into internal parliamentary discussions. Some legislators urged the government to immediately set standards for artists' mental health protection, equal to their physical protection. There are also calls for entertainment companies to be required to provide independent counseling services, so artists no longer rely solely on management. If this step is taken, Jungkook's case could become momentum for major regulatory change in the K-pop industry. Yet behind it all, the future scenario of BTS remains the biggest mystery. If Jungkook truly chooses to leave, it will be the biggest blow in modern K-pop history. BTS is not just a music group, but a global brand worth billions of dollars. The departure of a core member would change the entire map of the industry. On the other hand, if HYBE manages to keep Jungkook with a new, more humane agreement, it could pave the way for fairer artist contract standards, setting a positive precedent for the next generation. Speculation heats up as time keeps moving without clarity. Some fans believe Jungkook is preparing a personal statement via social media, while others suspect HYBE is negotiating a new contract behind closed doors. Korean entertainment journalists even said there is a possibility HYBE is deliberately delaying clarification until stock market conditions stabilize, although this strategy risks worsening the company's image in the public and the online world. Debate grows fiercer. Some interpret Jungkook's silence as a sign that he will leave, while others believe his tears are a cry for help for the system to change. Whatever the interpretation, all agree that a turning point has already occurred. BTS is no longer seen solely as untouchable idols, but as humans who can also be hurt. Now, all eyes are on the next step. Will HYBE finally break the silence and admit to internal problems? Will the Korean government step in with new policies? Or will Jungkook himself break the silence with a personal statement that could change the direction of BTS's history? One thing is certain, this storm shows no sign of subsiding. Instead, every second without an answer makes speculation wilder, and every day without clarification strengthens the impression that a major problem is being hidden. Jungkook's tears are no longer just an emotional moment of an artist, but a symbol of a crisis shaking the global entertainment industry. The world now waits, not just to hear Jungkook's voice, but also to see whether the K-pop industry dares to change for its artists. Whatever decision comes, one thing is already clear. After this moment, BTS and HYBE will never be the same again. The world has seen the fragile side that was long hidden, and there is no turning back from this openness.